first with breaking news. Fox 5 News starts now.
Breaking this afternoon, Governor Joe Lombardo is demanding action surrounding concerns on the Clark County School District budget. This morning, we learned that he is asking the Legislative Commission to perform an audit into the CCSD budget. In a letter, the governor wrote in part, quote, "We are concerned with reports that CCSD's current budget issues will potentially result in the release or elimination of teachers and other staff positions. Given last session's unprecedented increase in funding for education, such a scenario would be unacceptable." He also wrote in the letter that he wants this audit to consider the processes in which CCSD allocates funding to individual schools, what happened with the process to cause the current issues, and what action CCSD can take to avoid similar circumstances, and what the legislature and executive branch could consider to prevent this from happening in the future. And we also learned this morning that the Clark County Education Association is demanding a meeting with the district over these budget concerns, adding they support the governor wanting action. Fox 5 has reached out for interviews with CCSD Interim Superintendent Dr. Brenda Larson-Mitchell, Governor Joe Lombardo, and State Superintendent Joan Ebert about this and have not heard back.